What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering, and Twitter is a vile place filled with vile, hateful people. It's fun to dip a toe every once in a while, but if you spend too much time on it, you become one of them. And the endless cancellation attempts for Gina Carano are back up and running today, as one Gina Carano hater has gone so far as to issue some very, very concerning promises to Andy Signor for daring to defend her. Now, all of this is spawning out of the other issue that I uploaded earlier today and that is Star Wars supporting someone who has said some heinous things, has grouped a group of people, and their skin color and disparaged them. It's a vile opinion to have, and no matter what the skin color is, unless it's Twitter, where you can say this kind of stuff about white people and you're rewarded. And before I get into the rest of it, I just want to thank everyone for a strong January, for sticking with me. And if I haven't yet earned it, I hope today will be the day I earn your subscription. There's a red subscribe button down below the video. We're at like 46% of my total viewers who are not subscribed. I'd like to get that number below 40. As long as that stays below 40, then I don't harass you guys. So subscribe. Thank you. I appreciate it. Now, Gina Carano trending. And I see Twitter is hitting on Gina Carano. And yep, you like it. These are all people who claim to be inclusive. The thing is about inclusivity is they're not actually talking about ideas. They're talking about skin color and gender. But you have to have the same ideas as them. They're talking about pointless things like your skin color or your gender, things you have no control over. But what they really want is you to be a sheep like them, to get in line and parrot the exact same mainstream media narrative. To be a part of the hive mind is absolutely what these people want. You can see here, trigger warning, Gina Carano, just in case anyone wonders why we all hate Gina Carano, plus the fact she's phobic. Because she liked a tweet that said, "God bless America." Okay. She liked a tweet that said, "Let freedom ring." Pray for the Capitol Police. They have families like everyone else. Be smart. What's wrong with this? I mean, there's literally nothing wrong. Me looking at all the tweets about Gina needing to be fired or recasted. Me reading just these people are awful. Awful. And I hate this. I hate it because Gina is a genuinely, well, I can't say I'm like close personal friends with her, but in my interactions with her, she's been extraordinarily kind and accepting and open-minded. It's just that because she doesn't espouse the same ideology as the main kind of narrative of Twitter, these people want her canceled. I don't know who's here that needs to hear this, but John Boyega and Kelly Marie Tran getting bullied for being people of color, and Gina Carano getting hate for being anti-mask is very different. Really? Gina Carano I think she's a person of color. Maybe she's really tan. I don't know. But again, 6,500 likes. Who are these losers? And then the coup de grace. The coup de grace. Andy Signor made a tweet defending Gina Carano and is now a self-described obnoxious trans person is threatening to cut his junk off. Their entire feed is full of calls for this type of behavior. Will Google, Apple soon be platforming the Twitter app because of this unmoderated content? You see here, you're going to do this GG stuff, Andy Signor. This is the stunt where you want to pull in a world where you want to show your junk to the world. A lot of us have been around the block. We're carrying bolt cutters this time. So bring it out. Defend your effing Nazi. I mean, how does a normal person How does a regular person get here? How do you write this stuff? Consider what they're going to do for GG. Oh my God. 2.0 or whatever. The only correct response is unmitigated brutality. They need to learn to live in fear. It needs to be a bear trap they cannot pull out of. This person is deeply disturbed. And this is stuff, right? Like this is, they're a socialist, shocking. But why can't you have bad political opinions and not be this vile? You know what I mean? It's just so weird. The only correct response is that they are no longer, to what they are trying to do is brutality. This is all over, like, defending Gina Carano from a dog pile on Twitter. I'm a sharpshooter. I doubt you are. I doubt you are. And again, why? After Star Wars condemns bullying, Gina Carano haters call for her to be fired. Isn't that funny? I mean, just take a second and enjoy that. Leave a like button if you enjoy that hypocrisy, right? Star Wars comes out and says, hey guys, we want to be inclusive and please no bully. All right. We stand with our employee. What happens immediately? Everybody starts dogpiling, bullying Gina Carano. These are the same people that liked and retweeted that. They liked and retweeted that and said, yes, Slay Queen, but also let's be awful people to Gina Carano. She's not allowed to have a personal opinion. And there's no doubt in my mind that this has and will hurt her future in Hollywood. There's no doubt about it because that's what Hollywood is. There are a bunch of people that are all like-minded cultists that don't want to think for themselves, that just wait for the ascribed narrative to be brought down by their Lord and Savior, mainstream media, and then they just, get in line and say the same garbage. Fandom Wire writer and Popcorn Planet host Annie Signor has been received terrible thoughts for defending Gina Carano in the wake of the Star Wars Twitter account's recant statement on bullying. What's interesting to me is, again, here's what he said, by the way. I've never heard of Christina, but I'm confused where this tweet was for support for Gina Carano. She's been endlessly bullied for things she's never even said. Stop picking favorites and be truly inclusive by supporting all your talent equally no matter who they vote for. Signor will then proceed to share with a number of colleagues originally put together on Twitter, user Data Racer 117. By the way, he's definitely worth a follow. They're definitely worth a follow, which collected various social media posts directing hate and vitriol towards Carano for aforementioned disagreements. In response to one such collage, Twitter user Eva Cantor asserted that that's a cool thread of stuff she deserved for being a... And by the way, there's also a common thread with these people too. Their tweets and language is just completely filled with expletives. They don't really know how to talk. I've said this often, and I believe it's to be true. I believe it's true. They saw somewhere. It's like these people saw somewhere that, like, oh, high IQ people are often use expletives more often. So then they thought that they would, do that to fake it. That's a cool thread of stuff she deserved. Again, you can't just disagree with her opinion. She deserves to be dogpiled for it. These people are vile. And you know what? And what's the thing that is the most frustrating, the thing that's the most frustrating about this is that it's going to work. Eventually, Disney's going to say that it's not worth the trouble. And there's enough people that aren't paying attention to why, and they're still going to tune in and watch The Mandalorian. And it's going to be just heartbreaking. The idea that, characters are getting these spin-off shows. If you're not going to give Cara Dune a spin-off, she's easily the most popular character on The Mandalorian. That, I mean, you could say, the main character Mandalorian, but that is his show. Baby Yoda, I mean, it's basically his show too. If you're going to spin anybody off, it's got to be Cara Dune. Now, I'm not saying she absolutely needs a spinoff. It depends. I'd like to see more on-screen time in season 3, but I'm curious, is Disney going to be making active decisions here to hold her back? I wouldn't be surprised. And it's just the hypocrisy is just so gross with these people. Like, oh, bullying bad unless you're a person that we disagree with, then it's warranted and you deserve it. And the type of things these people say, they're unhinged. And I stand with Gina Carano's right to express herself, and I stand with look, if one is a problem, right? Let's look at this. This brings up a good point. Star Wars and Lucasfilm officially support this Christina Ariel saying basically just terrible things, lumping all whites together. Gina Carano is saying nothing that inflammatory. Nothing. All right? But because this type of talk is embraced by Twitter, they don't have a problem with it. And when she got backlash, Star Wars themselves came up to defend her, and Twitter rose up to defend her. Gina Carano says, questions one thing about maybe having some personal liberties, maybe shows a little bit of patriotism. That's a problem. And ultimately, people need to spend less time on Twitter. Gina, I definitely feel for you. Ultimately, I think she put out a tweet today. Like, she does this stuff, like kind of these. It's a tweet that it says, the moment we refuse to hurt others because our own pain is a time we evolve as souls. I think this is probably and she hasn't tweeted since January 19th. So for 4 days. So she's obviously aware of the online backlash. And what she's basically saying is like, I don't know this for a fact, but hey, maybe look at yourself before you're worried about others. And I don't hate that sentiment. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.